Hi, this is Mitch Doan, and along with Jamie Richardson, we're your hosts of the Break-Thru Active podcast. We aim to deep dive into health and fitness that will help bring you a better understanding of topics that are of interest to you and can help you on your own journey. If you are enjoying the episodes, we'd love for you to leave us a rating on the platform you listen to your podcasts. Enough from me, sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. Hello, welcome back again to the Break-Thru Active podcast. We've been on a little bit of a hiatus due to me being overseas, but finally we're back. Newcastle's number one podcast, back in business with co-host Stephen Cooley. Welcome, mate.
Hey, mate. How are you? How's Bali? Good?
Mate, Bali was fun, but like I have mentioned a few times, I got a little bit crook for a few days, and that put a bit of a dampener on things. 36.
It's not Bali. I went to Bali belly, mate.
Well, it wasn't even really Bali belly. Like, to be honest, even though I didn't test positive, I think it might have been the big C.
The vid.
Yeah. I don't know. It wasn't diarrhea or vomiting. Like, it was just like a really bad headache and body aches and some fever. So
no flies following you around?
No flies. Didn't do this. No Stephen Cooley special.
Thank goodness for that.
But no, it was still fun. Kate had a good time, and I had a good time when I was feeling good. So it's I don't know if you're like this, but whenever I get back or whenever I finish a holiday, I always really enjoy getting back to Australia. I feel like just the nice clean air and the good quality water and good quality food. Like you kind of miss it by the end of a holiday.
Yeah, I think definitely it depends where you go. I think as well, because obviously I just got back from Singapore, but like it's very, very westernized. But I dare say like somewhere like Bali, 100%, because it's just a different world over there.
Yeah, great for what it is, but by the time it's over, I'm ready to come back. But no, good fun. And you've got something exciting actually happening tomorrow, mate. Want to share that?
Oh yeah, how good. So Jamie and I, if people don't know, we're big basketball fans, and we're going down to just to shake hands and just have like a 20-second chat and a photo with Shaquille O'Neal. How good, NBA legend,
Big Diesel.
It'd be awesome. I can't wait to see how big he is, and I'm like honestly going to look like a garden gnome next to him because he's about 7 foot tall and about 160. He's going to be huge.
When you shake his hand, it'll just like swallow yours. It'll just
it like they say like it feels like a catcher's mitt. It'll probably actually feel like a catcher's mitt. So I'm looking forward to seeing just how much of a presence he is. So it'll be very, very interesting.
He's a really good dude. He's so funny. I love watching him on Inside the NBA. But it'll be something to remember. You get a photo, have a chat, talk some shit.
Yeah, like it's crazy. Like it's in Sydney, so. The argument is like, why are you driving all the way down for that? But it's just the fact it's a once in a lifetime thing just to get a photo with Shaq.
Yeah.
Of all people, so yeah, it'd be cool.
It'd be good fun. He'll have to say something about like barbecue chicken alert or something. You know how he says that one?
I was going to ask him, why did he take the role of the genie in Kazam?
He'd laugh at that.
Just something that people aren't going to ask him.
Yeah. Righto. Well, no, that will be fun, mate. Looking forward to seeing you look like about 4'3" next to him.
Yeah, I'll look like Brody next to me.
Actually. Righto. I've got a couple of different things we're going to talk about today, mate. So nothing too pressing. Keeping it quite lighthearted today. But a couple of different topics. So we'll just go through this first one, then on to number 2, and then finish number 3. So I'll lead the way with number 1. I'll ask you, and then I'll put my 2 cents in. But it's about podcasts. Obviously, we are now Newcastle's number 1 podcast, and that has still yet to be determined, yet to be proven. But I'm fairly sure it is. I mean,
no one said any different. Nobody's argued the point to me of late. So. I'm claiming it. Still Newcastle's number 1.
Has to be. But outside of that, of course, what is your favorite podcast that you'll listen to?
My favorite podcast to listen to, again, this is purely because I'm a big basketball fan. And my favorite podcast is the Draymond Green podcast.
What's it called again? I haven't.
It's literally called the Draymond Green podcast. Yeah. So if for those that don't know who Draymond Green is, he plays for the Golden State Warriors in the NBA, and he's a 4-time champion. And often he gives his analysis on different things. And he's actually a really smart guy. Like, he's really switched on, really smart, and he often gets different NBA players on. Just has a bit of a chin wag with them. And Draymond's also very well known for his trash talk. So he's not afraid to let loose as well. So it always makes for a pretty good episode from episode to episode.
Yeah, he's really good on TV too. Whenever I see him, like doing the stuff with Shaq or with those guys there on TNT, he's just got a very good outlook on the game. And I think especially for a podcast, being able to have like other players on who would respect him, they can actually just talk like a bit of basketball and talk about things that maybe they wouldn't talk about with just another host. So that would be cool. I haven't actually listened to it. I've seen clips of it on YouTube, but I haven't actually sat down and listened to him specifically.
Yeah, it's worth the time, especially if you're a basketball fan. Like, over the last little while, I've listened to he's done a few one-on-ones with a few big names. Like, he's done a one-on-one with Steph Curry, and he's done one with Joel Embiid, and one with Jason Tatum, and a few others. And yeah, he's just really insightful and just a really smart guy.
Yeah, he seems to be, like, not only basketball wise, but just very clued in with society and a lot of other things that they would talk about. There's a couple of good, like JJ Redick's got one now, right?
He's really switched on and really intelligent as well. So yeah, bit like us, to be honest with you.
More or less. I don't know if he's quite on our level, but he's getting there.
Well, he's apparently, like, so we're number one in Switzerland, thanks to Roger Federer. Thanks, Rog. But apparently JJ's podcast is like number 8 in Switzerland. So, as I said, it's not quite up to our standards yet. But JJ, a little bit of work, mate. You might get up there.
Getting there. Mine is very, very different. Probably couldn't be any more different than yours or Newcastle's number 1. And I'm just the reason why I'm just looking down is because I'm just getting it up here on my phone to make sure I got the name right. But it's actually they've stopped making episodes now. So they stopped, I think it was last year. But it's a podcast called True Blue Crime. So it's an Australian crime podcast just hosted by a guy and a girl from Melbourne. And they it only went for a couple of years. Let me just have a look.
83. I knew you were going to say something like that, crime related, because I know how much you love your crime stories.
Yeah, 83 episodes. So it went for a couple of years. I think they pretty much did like a weekly one. But really cool because it covers nothing but Australian crime stories from like way back, old 50s, 60s, 70s, but also like ones more recently, like the Sydney Siege. And ones that have happened, in the last sort of decade that I definitely remember. So it's just really cool to have a really, I guess, good analysis of the crimes, and it's just interesting. I like any true crime stuff, but I think especially because it was Australian, like it was I remember there was one that was about kidnapping and a murder in Stockton. So it's like cool to think how local and how close it is. But they, there's been a lot of bad stuff the last probably 50 years.
It's no good. Have you, like, this is like, it's still on topic, but it's a little bit off topic at the same time. Like, when you listen to those crime documentaries, like whether they be, I think it hits you a little bit more, as you said, if it's in Australia, because it's close to home. Yeah. But if you're up like late at night, and late at night to us is probably about 8 p.m. Or up 7 at night. Like, let's say if you got the podcast on, it's going, you're listening to the story. Can you go to bed straight after it? Because if I'm listening to a podcast like that, or if I'm watching one of those like documentaries, I need to put on something light before I go to bed. Otherwise, it's like doing silly buggers in my head first. Yeah.
I'm probably the same as you, and I listen to this more like through the day. But there's been times when I've like been watching some sort of crime thing at nighttime on Netflix, and then you go into bed and your mind's still racing. Like, not that I'm scared I'm going to get abducted or anything like that, but it's just, very thought-provoking. So my mind
100%.
just races, and I've had a bit of a hard time like getting to sleep actually because it's still on my mind. But yeah, if I was listening to this like over night time and then I tried to go into bed, I'd have a tough time. So tend to do it in the day. But there's a lot of actually really good ones on Netflix at the moment. One of them, you might have seen it pop up. It's about it's called Just Killed My Father, or I Killed My Father.
I haven't seen it.
It's good. Should watch it. I won't spoil it, but it's an American.
I've been loving the docos lately, so I might get around to watching it for sure.
Yeah, but it was very sad when this one stopped. I think they both had jobs and stuff, so it's not like they had ample time. But just they were so well done too that they've done like a lot of research. I mean, very similar to us where we're researching for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
Leading
not
up.
Off the cuff at all. Yeah, that's just not my style.
No. So just obviously got too much of them. But anyone who likes a bit of true crime and Australian true crime at that, have a look at True Blue Crime and you won't be disappointed.
I might get amongst it too.
Yeah. Okay. Next one. Another very hard-hitting topic. One that's required a lot of research on our behalf. I'll ask you first again. So when we're eating lunch on a day-to-day basis, if you could only eat one thing for lunch for the rest of your life, only one thing, and it can be as specific or as broad as you want it to be, what would it be?
Zinger stacker combo. Nah.
Good stuff.
You know what? I do love a Zinger stacker box. Just quietly, shout out KFC, Newcastle number one podcast. Giving local little businesses a bit of a plug.
Yeah.
My number one thing that I could easily eat like over and over and over again is sushi.
Yeah, good one.
Like 100%. I never get sick of it. If ever I'm out and about and I'm sort of like scrounging and a bit unsure about what to get, it's always sushi at the end of it. I'm always like, unless I feel like something specific, if I'm in an hour and I'm just like, I don't know, I always turn to sushi every time.
Yeah, that's not my answer, but I'm like with you there. Like that's one of my favorite foods for sure. And I think because it's just like so basic, like it is just like rice and meat,
tuna or
avo, or whatever. Like it's kind of just very normal foods, but when it's all mixed together, it's fantastic.
So is yours a Zinger stacker box as well?
Yeah, how'd you know?
Big KFC fan.
Hey guys, just very quickly, if you have been enjoying our podcast and you've been watching us on YouTube, I would love for you to subscribe to our channel. If you've been listening to our podcast, give us a follow, give us a 5-star rating on Apple or Spotify or wherever it is that you've been listening to us. It really helps the channel grow and I would be extremely appreciative and grateful if you took a moment to do that for me. Okay, that's it from me. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Before I say mine, what's your favorite type of sushi?
Oh, it changes from day to day, mate. But I'd probably have to say tuna, just classic.
Avo?
Just classic tuna.
Avo?
Yeah, tuna and avo, a bit of soy.
Yeah.
Good gear.
Yeah.
Love that.
Salmon and avo, chicken and avo, anything in avo and tuna is with sushi. Sorry,
people blow up if you have the chicken schnitzel ones. They say like that's not sushi. I don't care. It still tastes good.
Katsu.
Whatever.
I love me some katsu.
Love that. That's good stuff. I'm very intrigued to find out what yours is, mate. I assume it's not pizza.
Nah, well, I do love pizza, but I didn't really view that as a lunchtime food just because it's probably a bit more dinnerish. And I kind of took into health consideration a little bit, even though like I didn't have to. But it's a bit of a strange one because I don't really even eat this that often. But if I had to choose something that was semi-healthy and I had to eat all the time, it would be like a toasted sandwich of sorts. So like on a focaccia or something like that. Right. And having like if we're getting specific, probably would have chicken and some cheese and some avo and a bit of like tomato and a bit of chili sauce. But I'm not like, I mean, I could kind of have it with most things and I'd enjoy it. But
Yeah.
I don't know who invented the toasted machine, the toasty maker, but there's something about sandwiches when they get toasted that just makes them that much better.
Do you reckon his last name's Breville?
Katie Breville.
Katie Breville. Love that.
Stuart Breville, maybe, her husband.
I'll tell you what, mate. Like if you're keen on some Brevilles, a go-to of mine is actually Vegemite cheese and avocado.
Ooh.
It is actually red hot. I was really skeptical when I first had a Vegemite cheese and avocado toasty, but like it is next level. It is. They just mix together so good.
Well, Vegemite and cheese goes great. I know that to be true. I've had that plenty of times growing up. And avocado, as far as I'm concerned, goes on everything. So
cereal, the works.
Yeah, yours. Yeah.
Bit of Nutri-Grain with your avocado.
Yeah, absolutely. And top of your meat pie. Absolutely.
Whatever.
Yeah. So toast sandwich. Even just like I wouldn't just have this, but like just a good old fashioned cheese toasty. It's hard to go past that.
Yeah, it needs to be bigger though. Like it needs to be the good stuff. Like
not sliced.
Single business. Like get that out of there. Bigger. Like it needs to be bigger, coon, the works, all that.
Yeah, you got to spend up a little bit more on the cheese.
Get your sliced crap out of here.
Yeah.
Craft crap. Get out. But no, with you, mate. That sounds good. I'm getting to be peckish.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind a Katie Breville right now.
Big KB.
All right, last one now, mate. We're keeping it fairly shortish today. I'll let you introduce this one. This was your question.
Well, it's getting that time. It's getting very exciting. I know a lot of people are rugby league fans. We're 2 weeks out from the NRL finals, and I like this. This gets said every year, but I truly believe it this year, and I feel like this might be the most intriguing final series in the last 10 years, purely off the basis that I think more than 2 teams can actually win the premiership. I think about 6 different sides can make the grand final. I think it's just. I think it's that up in the air. So my question to you, mate, is gun to your head, which 2 teams play in this year's grand final and who wins it?
Oh man, that's a really, really tough.
Not Newcastle, clearly.
Oh, you sure? No, I think it's still Knights will be there.
Knights Titans.
Yeah, they're playing this week. That's the game that stops the nation.
Can the Knights Jagger win?
Oh,
probably not.
I think I've picked them, but I'm not confident. Okay, so it's a very, very good question. Now I'm going to assume that these 2, unless I don't know exactly who's going to be playing who, if all the top teams go through in these rounds. I mean, the top 8 isn't even set in stone yet, but providing that there's no clashes with anyone or anything. I think Penrith will be there. I think they'll get Cleary back and they'll find their way because they've still had a really good season. Obviously they've fallen off a little bit here the last couple of weeks since Cleary's gone. I don't even know exactly how many they've lost, but I think prior to this they'd only lost 1 game for the whole season. Was that right? They
lost 2 games. The game they lost to Parramatta earlier in the year, and then they lost another one to Parramatta. But Cleary got sent off after 12 minutes.
Yeah. So with Cleary, they've lost that one to Para, and then they lost again. So so I think they'll be there. I think it's pretty hard to go past them unless they play Parramatta. they might beat them.
And then Eagles would get them again.
Yeah, and. You're gonna be proud of me for saying this next one, mate. I think it's the Sharks.
Let's go.
I think it's the Sharks. I think they're. I don't want to say they're a dark horse because I think everyone's pretty, knowingly realizing that they're a good side this year. But they're just sitting there, and I think 3rd, and playing good footy, winning the games they should win. And I think they're a good chance this year. So
I like it, mate.
Sharks, Penrith. I would like to see the Sharks win just because Penrith sort of been there. But yeah, I think
You-
Penrith Sharks and I think Penrith will win.
Penrith get it, grand final day.
Yeah.
That's a pretty, mate. I've said to people like over the last few weeks, I've said you can almost say most teams are going to play in the grand final, and I wouldn't even argue with you. Like it's one of those years. Like you could say whoever. But I think first and foremost, I think my tip is Penrith will be there grand final day. Just purely again, like I just think they're far and away the best team in the comp, and it's not worrying me that they've lost a few games purely because like their halves have been out, like Jerome Luai and Nathan Cleary and a few forwards and that. So and they've been playing together for years since their junior days. So it's not like the come finals time when they're all back. It's not like they might be a little bit rusty, but because they just know each other so well, I just think that they're just going to click straight back into gear anyway. So I don't think they're going to have any problems. I dare say they'll probably play Melbourne first week of the finals because first will play fourth, and I still think they'll get the job done. And then who they play in the grand finals, it's hard because the Cowboys are sitting second. I don't see them getting there for some reason. I have either like the Sharks, Roosters, and probably Melbourne are probably the three teams I'm probably tossing and turning with. But mate, I'm not just saying this out of bias. I agree. I think the Sharks will be there grand final day. I just think we've just got the right mix of youth, old heads, hard running forwards, and some exciting backs. And our main man, that Nico Hines this year, buy of the year. He could probably be the Dally M Player of the Year this year. So we could potentially have the best player in the comp in our team. So I think we're firing on all cylinders now too. And I think if I had gun to my head, not just out of bias, I agree. I think it might actually be a Panthers versus the Sharks in the grand final. And unfortunately, I agree with you. I just think Penrith might be a little bit too classy on the day. But I like the thought of, you have to lose one to win one, because I still think the Sharks are a little bit inexperienced there at times as well. And similar to Penrith a few years ago, they made the grand final against the Storm, and after having like a phenomenal year, and they won the minor premiership, and then they end up losing on grand final day. And since then, obviously, what's happened then. They've been the benchmark team since. So I think we probably have to lose one to win one, and I think might be this year. But it's going to take a very, very special team and to beat Penrith on their day, and it's probably going to, Penrith probably going to have to be off just a little bit on that day to lose, I think.
Yeah, I think I like what you said at the start, where there are 6 teams I think that could make the grand final. Like definitely 5, the 2 we mentioned, Cowboys, Storm, and Roosters, and then I think Parramatta can pretty much beat any team on their day, and if they have a couple of games in a row. And then you've got the Bunnies, who have been playing like really good footy. They've won, like they narrowly lost against Penrith, but before that had won 6 or 7 out of the last 7 or whatever. And then 8th place will be
Broncos.
Yeah, probably.
Or the Raiders.
Yeah, Raiders coming home a bit hot, but they won't do it. But yeah, like there's 7 teams out of the 8 that are like, you wouldn't want to face the Bunnies. Like, no. Like they could do some damage. They could beat a couple of teams. I don't think you even want to face Parramatta. Look, Parramatta are dangerous on their day. That's what, like they're just very inconsistent. That's their problem. But if they play well, they can beat any of those teams, and still like the only teams who have beaten Penrith and done it twice, like something. But yeah, I agree. The Cowboys just not probably there. Same sort of principle as the Sharks, where they're kind of their first year at the top there for a while. So I think they might just need a bit of experience there. But yeah, Roosters and Melbourne, they've got the experience. They could. Yeah. And Roosters are coming home well too. You just can't write them off, those 2 teams, just because they've just got too many players with too much experience and too much class that come the big games, they just know how to get it done. Yeah. It'll be very interesting. It's going to be a really fun final series to watch. Like first week, obviously, all the way through the grand final. There's going to be a lot of good games, and you're not really sure who's going to go through. With this final series, it'll be the first time in a while. I think I'll pretty well be glued to the TV to watch all of it. So I think week to week, it's just it can be anyone's game to win or lose. And you never know, the Knights could come home really strong and snag 8th place and get off to the races from there.
Yeah, they'll win their last 2 games, finish a tidy 13th. Good job.
They'll use their joker around the last few rounds and get double the points and make it into 8th.
I need that, by the way. Speaking of, damn, I've got 1 joker left to go, and if I snag a good round, I might get up to a nice tidy 7th.
Top 10.
Fantastic.
I'll be struggling to make the top 10. One thing I didn't realise, and you might have realised, I don't know if you've got this, had this happen to you or not, but perfect round, you get 10 points.
What?
Yeah. Perfect round's 10 points this year.
Here I come, Adam Whipper.
Yeah.
Here I come.
So
let's go.
I made the rules, so I should know this because there's I just couldn't remember doing it. You can choose how many bonus points you get for a perfect round. And that's how Adam got so far ahead. He's had a couple of perfect rounds, so he's just skipped away. But yeah, this round is gone. There was quite a few people who got perfect round, and I thought, shit, they got 10 points. It all makes sense now. That's why I'm so far behind. No perfect rounds.
And I got a perfect round and forgot the Thursday game, so I didn't get any extra points. Thanks.
Have you even remembered to put your Thursday tip in ever?
Oh, I think this year out of 20, so what is it, 23 rounds, I think I've probably forgot easily 10 times. So there's 13 tips. I could have won this.
You've been lucky, though. I've sort of seen that there's been some that you've forgotten and you've got the away team and you've just got it anyway.
You beauty. How good's that? Just
right,
jagging my way.
We'll leave it there, mate. But some interesting picks, some interesting podcasts, and some interesting lunch choices. So lots of interesting things to be taken away from this.
Get around it, gang. Do yourself a favour. Get around it all. Panther Sharks. Get on that. As a bet. The Draymond Green podcast and a bit of sushi. You beauty.
While you're having a Katie Breville and enjoying some true crime.
A big KB. Love that.
Righto, mate. Thanks for that.
Thanks, mate.
Soon.
All right, guys. Catch us.
Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If there is a topic you'd like us to discuss that we haven't already, please make sure you reach out in Facebook Messenger and we'll do our best to cover it in the upcoming episodes. For those of you enjoying the podcast, we'd love for you to like, subscribe and leave us a rating. It really helps us grow and spread the good word. Hoping you're all having a great day, and we'll be sure to see you on the next one.